Hello and welcome back. Last time, we took a tour of the piano keyboard and discovered how it gives us this beautiful visual map of music. We found those groups of 2 and 3 black keys. We located C and F, and we started to notice how the keyboard shows us patterns. Today, we're going to zoom in on something I mentioned briefly last time, half steps and whole steps. These are the fundamental building blocks of melodies and scales, and once you understand them, you'll start hearing music in a completely new way. Now, I know half steps and whole steps might sound a bit technical, maybe even a little dry, but trust me, this is where things get interesting. Because these tiny distances between notes, they're what give music its flavor, its mood, its personality. They're the difference between happy and sad, between tense and resolved, between a lullaby and a march. So let's dive in. A half step is the smallest distance you can move in Western music. On the piano, it's beautifully simple. A half step is from any key to the very next key. That's it, the closest neighbor. So if you're on C, the next key is that black key sitting right next to it. That's one half step up. If you're on that black key, the next key is D. That's another half step. If you're on E, the next key is F. And remember, there's no black key between them. So E to F is also a half step. Here's what I want you to notice. Half steps don't care about color. White to black, half step. Black to white, half step. White to white when there's no black key in between, still a half step. It's just about being neighbors, adjacent keys. Now, a whole step is simply 2 half steps stacked together. So from C, if you go up 1 half step to that black key, then another half step to D, you've traveled a whole step. C to D is a whole step. Let's try another one. From D, up 1 half step to the next black key, then another half step to E. D to E, whole step. Here's a fun one. From E to F is a half step, right? There's no black key between them. So if you want to go a whole step from E, you have to keep going. E to F is 1 half step. F to the next black key is another half step. So E to that black key beyond F, that's a whole step. Now you might be thinking, okay, half steps, whole steps, what's the big deal? Well, here's where it gets musical. The distance between notes affects how they sound together, how they pull on each other, how they create tension or release. Play 2 notes that are a half step apart, let's say E and F. They're right next to each other. That closeness creates a particular kind of sound, a little tense, a little crunchy. Not bad, just close, intimate, sometimes a bit restless. Now play 2 notes that are a whole step apart, like C and D. More space between them, more breathing room. It sounds a bit more open, a bit more stable. That's why half steps and whole steps matter. They're not just measurements, they're musical colors. And when we start building scales, we're really just choosing a specific pattern of these colors. Speaking of scales, let's revisit our friend the C major scale. Last time, I told you it's just all the white keys from C to C. Play C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Easy enough. But now let's look at the pattern of half steps and whole steps inside that scale. Because this pattern, this is what makes it a major scale. This is the recipe. Starting from C up to D, there's a black key between them, so we're skipping over it. That's a whole step. D up to E, another black key in between, another whole step. E up to F, no black key between them, they're neighbors. That's a half step. F up to G, black key in between, whole step. G up to A, black key in between, whole step. A up to B, black key in between, whole step. And finally, B up to C, no black key, another half step. So the pattern of the major scale, if we write it out, is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now here's a beautiful thing. That pattern, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, that's not just the C major scale. That's a recipe for any major scale. If you want to build a major scale starting from any note, you just follow that same pattern of whole and half steps. Let's try it. Let's build a major scale starting from G instead of C. Start on G. We need to go up a whole step. G to the next black key is a half step, so we keep going. Next black key to A is another half step. That's G to A, a whole step. Good. From A, we need another whole step. A to the black key to B. That's A to B, whole step. Great. From B, we need a half step. B to C, no black key between them. That's a half step. Perfect. From C, we need a whole step. C to the black key to D, whole step. From D, another whole step. D to the black key to E, whole step. From E, another whole step. Now, E to F is only a half step, so we have to keep going. E to F is one half step. F to the black key beyond it is another half step. So E to that black key is a whole step. And finally, from that black key back to G is a half step. We just built the G major scale by following the recipe. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, what do we call those black keys? They need names, right? Absolutely. And we'll get to that very soon. In our next episode, actually. We're going to talk about sharps and flats and how we name all those black keys. But for now, I wanted you to understand the concept first, the pattern, the recipe. Because here's the thing, you don't need to know the names to hear the pattern. You don't need to know what to call that black key beyond F to understand that you're moving by whole steps and half steps. The pattern exists whether we name it or not. It's like you can appreciate the pattern of a beautiful quilt even if you don't know the names of all the colors. The names help us talk about it, sure, but the pattern itself is the thing of beauty. So here's your homework. Yes, I'm giving you homework, but it's fun homework, I promise. If you have access to a piano or keyboard, try building a major scale from a different note. Pick D or F or any note you like. Use the pattern whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Count those half steps carefully. Remember, a half step is to the very next key, and a whole step is two of those. And if you don't have a keyboard handy, that's okay. Next time you see one in a music store, at a friend's place, even on a video online, you'll be ready. You'll have the pattern in your mind. Because that's what we're building here. Not just knowledge, but musical intuition. The ability to see patterns, to hear relationships, to understand why music sounds the way it does. Thanks for joining me today. Next time, we're going to name those black keys and unlock even more of the keyboard secrets. Until then, happy exploring, and keep those half steps and whole steps in mind.